30 seconds ago, you probably walked past your kitchen counter without thinking twice. Maybe there's a half-drunk cup of coffee sitting there. Maybe your phone. But somewhere in your house, a cabinet, a drawer, a shelf, there are bottles, lots of them. And tonight, I need to show you something that is going to make every single one of them feel like a very expensive mistake. What you are about to find out has been sitting quietly in certain American households for over a century and a half. Not in hospitals, not in research labs, in kitchens, in small, ordinary glass jars, kept alive by people who never needed a pharmacy because they never forgot something the rest of us were slowly convinced to give up. One, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button right now and drop a like. Because what I am walking you through over the next 10 minutes is the kind of thing most people spend years and thousands of dollars trying to figure out. You're getting it here for free. Let me ask you something personal. How many supplements do you take every morning? Be honest. If you lined up every bottle in your home on a table, what would that table look like? Vitamin D, omega-3, some probiotic with colorful bacteria illustrations on the label, zinc, magnesium, maybe a greens powder you bought after watching a podcast. Add up what you spend on all of that per year. For most American adults, that number lands somewhere between $400 and $800. And here's the question that stopped me cold a few years ago. If the human body needs that many manufactured compounds just to function, how did anybody stay healthy before supplement stores existed? How did farmers live into their 80s doing brutal physical labor every single day? What did they know that nobody bothered to tell us? The answer was not in any nutrition textbook. It was in a farmhouse in rural Ohio, inside a glass jar sitting on a wooden shelf covered with a piece of cheesecloth. There is a specific community in America that federal researchers have been quietly studying for decades. The results are so unusual that scientists have had genuine difficulty explaining them. These people have significantly lower rates of type 2 diabetes, lower rates of heart disease. Their children have dramatically fewer cases of asthma and allergies. Their digestive health, according to gastroenterologists, looks the way human digestive systems looked 100 years ago, before processed food, before antibiotic overuse, before the supplement aisle existed. They do not take prescription medications. They do not have better hospitals. What they have is a fermentation tradition passed from mother to daughter, generation to generation, in handwritten binders and ceramic crocks, for over 150 years. I am talking about Amish communities in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania, and Holmes County, Ohio. And what they make with 3 ingredients that cost under $4 at any grocery store is, scientifically speaking, more potent than most of what is sitting in your cabinet right now. Before I go further, you need to understand one word. It is the entire key to why a glass jar beats a bottle of pills almost every time. That word is bioavailability, the percentage of a nutrient your body can actually absorb and use. When you swallow a synthetic vitamin capsule, your digestive system often recognizes it as a foreign compound, not as food. A large portion passes right through you. This is published research, not a fringe theory. The gap between what a supplement label claims and what your body can actually extract is, in many cases, enormous. But when microorganisms ferment natural ingredients over several days, something completely different happens. The bacteria do not just preserve existing nutrients. They manufacture new ones, B vitamins. Vitamin K2, good digestive enzymes your body would otherwise have to produce on its own. And they deliver everything in a form your gut recognizes immediately as food, because that is exactly what it is. Now let me tell you what is in the jar. 3 ingredients: fresh ginger root, plain white sugar, filtered water, no starter culture, no special equipment, no mail order packets. The bacteria and wild yeast driving the fermentation are already living on the outer skin of the ginger root itself. You are not creating life. You are giving life already present a place to grow. The Amish do not call this medicine. They call it a habit, something you maintain the way you maintain anything that keeps a household running. Families in Holmes County have active ferments on their counters right now that were started decades ago, fed every morning, producing something alive and functional every single day at zero ongoing cost. Here's how you start one this weekend. Take a clean, quart-sized glass mason jar. Fill it 2/3 with filtered water. If your tap water is heavily chlorinated, let it sit uncovered overnight first. Chlorine kills the organisms you're trying to grow. Take a piece of fresh organic ginger root about the size of your thumb. Do not peel it. The skin is where everything important lives. Grate about 2 tablespoons and add it to the jar. Add 2 tablespoons of plain white sugar. Stir with a wooden spoon. Cover the top with a thin cloth secured with a rubber band so air moves freely but dust and insects cannot get in. Set the jar on your counter between 68 and 75 degrees, away from direct sunlight. Every morning and evening for the next 5 to 7 days, stir it and add another tablespoon each of fresh ginger and sugar. This is called feeding the bug. By day 4, you will see small bubbles forming. By day 7, the liquid will be visibly active and fizzy. That means it is alive. That means it is working. Every morning after that, pour off about half a cup and drink it straight, or mix it with a splash of raw apple cider vinegar and a spoonful of raw local honey. A drink Amish farm workers have consumed for over 150 summers during brutal harvest heat, without cramping, without heat stroke, without stopping work. But here is the part most people who have heard of this ferment do not know. The part I found written in pencil in a 1923 household record never intended for public eyes. After your base ferment has been active for a full week, pour a half cup into a separate clean jar. Add 1 whole clove of fresh crushed garlic. Cover it. Let it sit 4 more days, stirring once daily. What you end up with is what the elder women of Holmes County called the second stage. Strain it into a small glass bottle, store it somewhere cool and dark, and take 1 spoonful in the morning and 1 at night when you feel something starting. A stubborn cough, a stomach that is off, that heavy feeling behind your eyes that tells you something is coming. Fermentation transforms the garlic in a way that raw garlic alone cannot. It breaks down its compounds into more stable, more bioavailable forms, and pairs them with the living organisms from the original ferment. This combination has been stopping chest colds in Holmes County households long before urgent care clinics existed. Think about what that is. A 2-stage ferment made from ginger, sugar, water, and garlic. Under $1 a month. No refrigeration, no electricity, no expiration date if you keep feeding it. Producing B vitamins, K2, gut enzymes, and fermented antimicrobial compounds in a form your body absorbs as food. Now compare that to the cabinet full of bottles. Compare that to the hundreds of dollars spent every year on supplements whose real bioavailability rates no label will ever honestly print. The traditional fermentation practices American households maintained for 2 centuries did not disappear because they stopped working. They disappeared because early 20th century legal infrastructure made it impossible to publicly discuss natural preparations without risking prosecution. Anything perceived as treating or preventing disease required federal approval that cost millions, money no farmer with a jar on the windowsill could ever afford. So the knowledge was not disproven, it was not debunked, it was made inconvenient. The supplement industry that replaced it has grown to over $170 billion globally. Meanwhile, chronic disease rates in America have not dropped. They have risen. Digestive disorders, autoimmune conditions, inflammatory disease, all at record levels in a country where more than half of all adults take at least 1 supplement every single day. The Amish, who do not advertise and do not participate in that economy, simply never stopped. They kept the jar on the counter. They kept feeding it. They kept teaching their children. Go look at your supplement cabinet right now, count the bottles, do the math on what you spent last year, then ask yourself honestly, when did someone I actually trusted, not a label, not a commercial, not an industry with a financial stake in my deficiency, when did someone teach me to make something alive in my own kitchen? For most of us, the answer is never, because that tradition was not lost. It was interrupted. And interrupted things can be picked back up. You do not need a farm. You need a clean glass jar, a piece of cloth, some ginger from any grocery store, and 7 days. On the 8th morning, you will pour yourself something nobody in your immediate family has probably tasted in 3 generations. And you will understand in that first sip exactly why the people who figured out how to sell you a bottle never wanted you to find the jar. If this opened your eyes, share this video with someone who needs to see it. And tell me in the comments, does your family have any old handwritten recipe books sitting forgotten somewhere? A drawer, a box, an old shelf nobody has opened in years? Just type the word alive below, that one word. Subscribe to Secret Verse if you have not already, because the next video covers an Amish food preservation method that keeps eggs perfectly edible for over 8 months with no refrigeration and no special equipment. I have personally tested it. The jar is already on my shelf, and your bug can be alive on your counter by the time that video drops. Start it tonight, feed it tomorrow, and take back something that was always supposed to be yours.